Years ago, after the Soviet Union collapsed, the United Nations pushed the U.S. to become the global sheriff and asked the young Clinton, who was the president at the time, to take better care of smaller countries. But the smaller countries not only did not appreciate it, but also called the U.S. a meddling, long-armed monkey. During the Somali Civil War, after the Black Hawk helicopter was shot down, Clinton swore not to intervene in the internal conflicts of smaller countries anymore. As a result, a few months later in Somalia, because the U.S. stayed out, a confrontation broke out among them. In just 3 months, over 800,000 people were killed. Just as people were criticizing the U.S. for not handling world affairs in Central Europe, the Serbs in Bosnia started a massacre targeting Muslims. The capital of this region, Sarajevo, was the place where World War I began, which haunted France. They were too afraid to intervene, wanting the U.S. to step in. But Clinton was still hesitant, because the situation in the U.S. was also chaotic. No need to hesitate any longer. The Serbs launched another new wave of slaughter. When they captured the city of Srebrenica, they made over 8,000 boys disappear. This time, the United Nations and Clinton could not remain idle. In the night, U.S. fighter jets took action to suppress the Serbian forces. Within 2 weeks, with 3,500 airstrikes, the Serbs were defeated and forced to sit down for peace talks with the Muslims. The international issue was temporarily resolved. However, the domestic problems were what gave Clinton the biggest headache. The biggest problem came from the Republican Party. Their leader, Newt Gingrich, was not happy to see a young man like Clinton holding the reins of power, especially when Clinton was so intelligent and decisive. After Newt Gingrich became Speaker of the House, and the Republicans gained more seats in Congress, he immediately sought to remove Clinton before his term ended. Newt Gingrich demanded that Clinton cut government spending. If not, Congress would reject approving the budget to pay federal employees. Clinton, though young, was the president of the United States and could not accept being forced by an old opposition leader. So he decided to take the lead with 800,000 federal employees on strike, collectively not working. The U.S. fell into chaos, as if there was no government. People couldn't even find a place to pay their water bills. But Newt Gingrich was also stubborn. If he backed down now, he would be seen as losing the public battle. And he was also preparing for the next election, so he couldn't afford to lose so soon. No matter what, Clinton was the first to cause the federal government to go on strike. When tensions reached a boiling point and civil war nearly broke out, if a new government had to be formed, so be it. The leader of the Republican Party, Newt Gingrich, controlled both the U.S. Congress and the Senate. There was a tense battle with the young Democratic president, Bill Clinton. The confrontation between the two caused great chaos in the United States. Gingrich intentionally refused to approve the budget to pay federal employees to pressure Clinton. But Clinton was no pushover. He led 800,000 federal employees on strike. However, among the few who still had to work at the White House, there was a 22-year-old intern named Monica Lewinsky. This young girl, just starting out in life, was a naive, innocent girl who, facing a stressed and pressured Clinton, became the object for the president to relieve stress. But playing around would eventually come at a cost. Although at the time, Clinton hadn't faced trouble yet, because he was busy fighting with Newt Gingrich. The confrontation between Clinton and Newt Gingrich shocked the United States. Congress could not bear the ongoing chaos and had to organize a vote for the American people to decide who should be supported. The people chose Clinton because, after all, he was the president of the country. As for Newt Gingrich, no matter how talented he was still just the Speaker of the House. How could he have the power to manipulate the president? In the end, Clinton overpowered Newt Gingrich, retaining control of the country. But Newt Gingrich didn't easily give up on Clinton. He was just waiting for an opportunity to strike a blow against the young president. Trouble really began when the affair between Clinton and Lewinsky started to leak. A superior of Lewinsky at the White House noticed the unusual relationship between the two and decided to move the young girl to intern at the Pentagon to protect the president's reputation. However, Lewinsky's new superior at the Pentagon was a member of the Republican Party. The naive, young intern thought she was being sidelined, growing increasingly sad. She openly showed her frustration. Her new superior, with a mind full of schemes, skillfully exploited Lewinsky's unstable emotions. From there, he uncovered a bombshell secret. Gingrich finally had the chance to bring down Clinton. But the relationship between Clinton and Lewinsky was not illegal. Clinton could only be criticized on moral grounds. To increase the pressure, Gingrich paid to acquire a recorded confession from Lewinsky. In it, the young woman detailed her relationship with the president. Then Gingrich spread rumors that Clinton had an inappropriate relationship with the intern right inside the White House. Gingrich devised a clever plan. If Clinton denied this relationship during a hearing before Congress, he would release the recording and accuse Clinton of perjury. It was a perfect trap. Clinton, for the sake of his honor, obviously couldn't admit it, and that pushed him right into Gingrich's trap. The president was now just waiting to be impeached. Many people say that after Clinton's time, America began to decline. But in fact, it wasn't that the subsequent presidents were weak. It was because Clinton had flown too high during his time in office, especially during his second term. Under his leadership, the U.S. economy grew exponentially, turning America into a true global powerhouse. Initially, If nothing had gone wrong, Clinton would have undoubtedly become a political legend right after Franklin D. Roosevelt. But no one expected that the young president would encounter major trouble because of his womanizing habits. It all began with the naive intern Monica Lewinsky, who had been Clinton's lover at the White House. The young woman thought that all she had to do was fool around with the president and her career would take off. But life is not as dreamy. Lewinsky's superior broke up the couple, forcing her out of the White House. She felt dissatisfied and disappointed, and she was easily manipulated by politicians from the opposition party, the Republican Party. Lewinsky publicly revealed the entire story of her relationship with Clinton when she was at the White House. Clinton, of course, denied everything. The First Lady, Hillary Clinton, also stepped in to defend her husband, claiming this was a political smear from their opponents. But Lewinsky was not completely foolish. She produced a dress with proof on it, a stain containing Clinton's DNA. Faced with undeniable evidence, Clinton finally admitted to Hillary that he had committed adultery. However, Hillary, accustomed to her husband's womanizing, chose to forgive him and stand by his side. Clinton's biggest opponent, Newt Gingrich, didn't easily pass up this opportunity. He quickly pushed for an impeachment report in the House of Representatives. But fortunately for Clinton, the Democratic Party had just won more than half the seats in the House. So the party leaders together defended him, helping him avoid impeachment. In the end, Clinton retained the presidency thanks to his outstanding leadership skills. During his 8 years in office, he not only revived the economy, but also turned the federal government's deficit into a surplus of $2.4 trillion, something no other president had accomplished. Had he been in Nixon's position, Nixon would certainly have been abandoned by his own party. Nevertheless, this scandal left a deep scar in Clinton's psyche. Though he avoided impeachment, the scandal significantly tarnished his reputation. With 700 days left in his term, Clinton began preparing for his farewell speech. During that time, he just hoped there would be no more revelations from Lewinsky, because if she revealed anything more, even the gods could not save him.